Hey, you guys. Here is a first recording for you about the syllabus that we're going to be using for Chemistry 111, our General College Chemistry 1 with lab that you guys are doing this summer. This is a syllabus that you will see in D2L that I already have loaded for you that you can go in and read over again. But I just usually go over the syllabus with my students just so everybody kind of knows where things are. So I'm not going to read this whole syllabus to you, but this first page of the syllabus shows the different things that we're going to be doing as far as my name here, the information, the course information, and my name is down here. This is all my contact information at the bottom here. My name is Kristen Rowan. I'll be your guide through Chemistry 111, General College Chemistry 1. Our meeting times are going to be dependent upon what's happening with the pandemic. So right now, our first week of class will be completely online, as it states right here, during the first week. And then hopefully we're going to be able to come in for labs. I don't know how much lecture we'll be able to come in for, but we'll be using WebEx. And WebEx is kind of cool, and it's fast, and I think it does a great job. And then you guys can hang out at home and don't have to waste fossil fuels to come to class. We can just do it over WebEx. I'll be sitting here in my office, and you guys will be sitting wherever you're sitting, listening to me. And you guys will be able to ask questions, and we'll be able to have an interactive lecture during that time. So this first page of the syllabus just gives general course information. You'll see that here is what the course is. And as far as the dates and the time frames, I have lecture time here as 8 to 10:50. That's going to vary depending upon what we're doing that day, because if we're meeting for a lab, it probably won't be that long on WebEx. If we're not meeting for a lab, it could be like up to 5 hours. And that's what it would normally be for a summer class. If we didn't have lab, we would just come in for 4 to 5 hours of lecture. Of course, we'd have breaks in between and lunch and all that other stuff. So hopefully it wouldn't be too horrific. But either way, that lecture time on WebEx is going to vary. I've given you the WebEx link here. And that link then will hopefully work for you and take you to my room, my WebEx room, and then we'll be able to have our meetings there. Now the lab days can be Tuesday or Thursday. It just depends on the schedule. We have 10 labs scheduled, and they may start earlier than this 11 a.m. That's just technically what the college lists as lab time. Like I said, due to the pandemic, we're still going to have our face-to-face labs, but our first week is going to be completely online, no labs. My office telephone is given down here as 502-3498, and I will be in my office basically all day Tuesdays and Thursdays, and maybe some Wednesdays. You can always email me at this email address, and then you can ask me any questions that you have. Here's my email address. I'm just having fun with highlighting stuff. Okay, anyway, that's our first page of the syllabus. Let's go to the next one. Oh, there's a picture of me with my horse. He's just so good looking, I always have to show him. His name's Prince Victor. And that's me, so you recognize me if you ever see me. Now we're on to important dates. Important dates for this semester, of course, the drop date. If you just want to get the heck out when you find out this is just not for you, the drop date is June 4th. The withdrawal date to get a W is July 20th, and then of course our holidays is 4th of July, but that doesn't really affect us. For our complete course description and objectives, you can click on this link in your syllabus, and that will take you to something like if you're going to transfer, your transfer institution might want to know what we covered during this class. Prerequisites are Chemistry 101 or High School Chemistry and Math 121. We will use algebra, we will use logarithms, we will use natural logarithms, we will use the quadratic equation sometimes, so you want to be familiar with that type of thing. Your book gives an appendix that has some of that math covered for you. As far as our course materials, there's a textbook. There's this 13th edition, Chang Chemistry. There's the ISBN for the whole book. I was searching just the other day, and I found a place that you could get a PDF for like 20 bucks. So of this edition. So I don't know, there's so many options out there to get this textbook. If you want a physical textbook, of course, you can order that online. You can order from McGraw-Hill. You can get a PDF. There's so many things to do there. For our lab manual, I call it our Inquiry Lab Manual. That's available on D2L as a PDF, so you can just access that whenever you want. You don't have to print it if you don't want to. and that's going to be where our information is for labs. The lab notebook. Now, since we are doing a lot online, I normally require this Hayden McNeil carbonless copy thing. Now, I don't know, I'm kind of changing my mind now after this online experience, and because how we're going to be turning in lab reports is in assignment folders, and those assignment folders will have your entire lab report, and that lab report will also contain scans of your notebook. So if you don't want to buy this, you can just buy a just buy a notebook, but make it to be graph paper notebook. And it can be an 8.5 by 11 spiral, whatever floats your boat. And then you are going to take pictures of your lab notebook to submit with your lab report. So this is a little up in the air here, this whole lab notebook thing. We can talk about that later if you want to, or you can ask me questions. But I think that if you want to buy this, you can, or you can buy just a regular grid graph paper, spiral bound or not spiral bound notebook, and then you can use that because we're going to be taking pictures of the pages. Of course, you need a scientific calculator and you need goggles before we have our first lab. Internet requirements for sure. We are going to be doing a lot online, so please make sure that you have a computer to watch all the videos, to email, to get on D2L, to do everything that you need to do, and submit your lab reports, submit your fun sheets, submit all these different things. And again, we'll be using WebEx. Tips for success, I always follow the ups, which is to show up, keep up, and soak up, or listen up, because if you show up to class, whether it's WebEx or face-to-face, then you will be ahead of the game because you will be keeping up with what we're doing in class. To keep up, read and be prepared for each lecture. Of course, to do that, you read the book, and then you will do some guided readings I have if you want to, or you can just take your own notes and start working on practice problems and problems at the end of each chapter. Then, of course, listen and soak up. Just come and participate in our WebEx lectures, actively listening and asking questions. And then, but if you're a pain in the butt and you need to be asked to leave because you're being a distraction because of using outside resources or computers or phones or whatever, as long as you're quiet, that's okay. And then you will enable everybody else to soak up the information that's being discussed. So that's page 2 of the syllabus. What I did want to point out here, I went crazy with the highlighting here, you can see, but what this is showing you is a D2L screenshot of, oh, look at that. All that highlighting is on there from what I've just highlighted. So I didn't mean to highlight all that stuff. That was from what I just previously highlighted. But this is a D2L screenshot, and that D2L screenshot is showing you what the modules look like and all the different areas of D2L. There's a home area, there's a content area, there's assignments where you will submit your lab reports and your fun sheets. There's content where you'll see all of the content that we'll be covering in the class. There's the quizzes where you'll see the quizzes that you'll be taking on D2L for prep quizzes and homework quizzes. And then the rubrics, there's a few rubrics in there for fun sheets and lab reports that you might want to review to make sure you hit all the high points for your assignments. And then, of course, you got grades, and that's where you see all your grades. I think I have another D2L thing coming up right now, or maybe that's on the next one. It was not on that one. So let's go on to page 3 of the syllabus. It's talking about the attendance policy. I will take attendance whether it's on WebEx or whether it's in class, and I have to submit attendance. So please make sure to show up if you can. If you can't, just let me know what's going on and I can work with you. We cannot make up any lab work due to this pandemic, so you just have to come when you can, if you can. We have 10 labs. As far as the WebExes are kind of like lecture. You don't have to be there, but it's helpful, of course. And then, but lab work can't be made up, so you have to be there. Otherwise, you have to have a 0 for that assignment, for that lab report. The online prep quizzes and homework on D2L, and I showed you that on the previous slide. And I think I have another picture of the D2L shell coming up. And as far as my instructor provided resources for success, what I've given you is what I call fun sheets. And fun sheets are just like worksheets, but I don't know if they're any more fun, but they're just what we are going to focus on in class to help you learn the material. There's also things called guided readings, and guided readings are just notes that I made when I read the chapters, and then there's fill-ins in there for you, and you can print those off if you like, or if you take your own notes, that's okay too. As I have here, lecturing is the least effective form of learning. Because I'm sure you've already checked out on me talking about the syllabus, but try to actively listen and kind of, you can get some things from lecturing, but at the same time, you really want to actively discuss and participate in anything you're trying to learn. But listen first, then ask questions. That's what I have found to be useful. So what I have for you guys this semester is something different right here, is that how is this going to pan out? And I think it's going to pan out in the fact that the student, you will read the chapter, and you can use the guided reading if you like. If you don't want to use the guided reading, you take your own notes, and then you can go complete the prep quiz. These prep quizzes are between 5 and 10 questions, and those prep quizzes are due before we discuss the material. Then you have multiple tries on those, and so you can use those to learn from. Then you'll go to the WebEx lectures just like you would normally come to class. You'll watch those lecture videos and then work on the chapter fun sheets. And then after you've asked your questions and you feel confident, you'll go ahead and submit that fun sheet, and then I will grade that and get some feedback to you about those questions. And then there's a homework, which is a D2L online homework, and that kind of finishes up the chapter, and then you repeat that for every chapter until chapter 10 is over. Chapter 11, we just do the first couple sections. For any testing that we do, we will be doing in-class testing, hopefully. I think we will. Will we be coming with our social distancing and masks and all that stuff and sitting in our spots and make sure that we can be safe from COVID or from spreading COVID if we have it or been exposed to it. And then we will just take an exam like you would normally. But we just have to make sure that you don't have any earpieces or headphones or caps or anything like that on, no computers or phones, and you will need a calculator and a pencil or pen. So again, for examinations, we're going to talk about the types of exams that I like to give. I kind of get bored with just giving multiple choice exams, so I like to give kind of essay questions embedded in a story type of thing. So our exams will consist of essay and problem type questions embedded in a story. Now, that story in this semester can be a couple of different things. I'm kind of focusing on forensic chemistry the last couple semesters, so I've written some exams that focus on that. So you will see that type of thing in your exams. They're in class. Exam 1 and 2 are in class and closed book, but exam 3 and 4 are take home and open book. They're meant to foster creative and critical thinking. So if you copy or just go to CHE or whatever, you're not really getting anything out of it. You might get an A in the class, and that's great. But I do monitor CHE and Course Hero and all those things for my questions because I do put a good bit of time and effort into what I consider making up kind of interesting things for you to do to apply your knowledge of chemistry, not just is this a substance or is this an element, that type of thing. So you'll see it when you get to exam 1. Exam 1's pretty cool. So this is another screenshot of D2L, and it looks like I was pointing out quizzes here, and you'll see the quizzes that which are homeworks and prep quizzes, and there's a safety quiz that we'll be doing. That's where you'd find those. And then again, I'm giving you another D2L shot. I shouldn't be highlighting everything because it's showing right through, but this is a D2L shot of assignment folders, and you'll see assignment folders in here. Like your very first assignment folder is called First Day Lab Tasks and Scavenger Hunt, and that is one of your first assignments that you're going to do. We usually do that in lab, but I'm just having you guys do it at home, and then go ahead and do some online resources for that, and then submit it online. We're going to save a lot of paper. I'm so excited. Okay, it looks like we're on slide 4 or page 4 of the syllabus. I'll let you guys read through these, but we have a final exam, which is an ACS final exam. Anything turned in late is 10% per day off of your grade. The grading policy is that you'll see all the points possible down here. Since this is a guaranteed transfer course, you need to make sure to do all the labs. And if you miss 2 experiments are missed, you fail the course. Because the way our course is designed, we have the lab combined with the lecture, so you can't miss lab. Like I failed the lab part or I failed the lecture part. No, it's all together here. So you can't. If you miss more than 2 experiments, you have to fail the whole course. Here's all of our points. We have prep quizzes, homeworks, the fun sheets that you'll be turning in, lab reports, final exam, and then our exams 1 through 4. Here's a little schedule. This is a schedule that I put together, tried to make it as neat and understandable as possible. Each day, there are certain things. Now, since a lot of this is going to be online, we will be kind of WebExing, during our lecture time. So, I was a little bit freaked out myself of, oh my gosh, how am I going to figure out what times I am doing things? And so I actually broke it down by time. So you check it out here. This is the WebEx lecture time. Now, these are tentative, but they are generally, we're going to try to hold to those in general. You will see certain things that we're going to be doing. Like on Tuesday, we'll be discussing syllabus, chapter 1, and I'll be giving you a link for a forensics video, and I'll giving you this link for this video. So you can watch that at your own leisure. And then we'll be coming in and just covering chapter by chapter during our WebEx time and with some online resources that I'm going to give to you. So we have a time frame that we'll be doing things. We will have what's being covered, and we will have the date in which it will be happening. Now, the fun sheets that we'll be covering in class and during our WebEx time, this is the due dates. The due dates for those, if you notice here, we have fun sheet number 1 is due on Sunday. Now that Sunday is not Thursday 5/28. That Sunday is the Sunday after Thursday 5/28. So when I put in parentheses here day of the week, that's when that is due. And when it's due past this day, it's due by 11:59 p.m. So 11:59 p.m. is when this guy will be due to the assignment folder of D2L. Okay, and then on this last column, we have prep quizzes, homeworks, and exams that are all on D2L. So after your first day of class, you want to go in and take the prep quiz over chapter 1. Then we're just going to really bulldoze through chapters 1 through 3. Now, hopefully, everybody should have had a chemistry at one point in their life. I know that doesn't mean you remember it, and that's okay. But hopefully there's still some left in there in your brain, and you'll be able to access that. So we're going to kind of go pretty quickly through these things. So your prep quiz for chapter 1 and 2 is due within the first week. Prep quiz 1 is due Wednesday. Prep quiz 2 is due Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Homework number 1 is due Friday by 11:59 p.m. Homework 2 is due Wednesday by 11:59 p.m. So you'll see that's kind of the way it goes. If no day of the week is listed after a prep quiz, that means it's due at 8 a.m. like we would be in class. That's what I normally do for face-to-face classes. This is something you're supposed to be doing before lecture. So then you've already kind of had exposure to it, and it's not the first time you're seeing it. So those are the due dates for all the prep quiz and the homeworks and the exams on D2L in this last column here. In this column, we have our fun sheets when they're due. We have time frames for WebExes that's tentative. And then we have what we're covering during classes and the dates that is happening on. So this is also on your syllabus, and on your syllabus it talks about when WebEx lectures will be taking place, when fun sheets are due, when prep quizzes are due, and when the day of the week, what the day of the week's abbreviations mean. So let's go to the next page. This next page is the lab schedule, and that lab schedule shows where we're going to be doing our 10 labs, as well as some safety information. We'll be coming to campus on 6/2 from 11 to 1, and from 11 to 1 we will go over lab safety, check in, and look at all of our materials and review that safety scavenger hunt review thing that you did and you've already submitted. You can see up here it was due Sunday after 5/28, and that was 5/31. This online safety quiz, after you've read through all this information and watched some videos, there's a safety quiz that's due that Sunday also. And then we'll come in on 6/2, and I'll see you guys for the first time, and we will talk about lab safety and check into our materials, go over that scavenger hunt, and then I'll see you guys later. And then on 6/4, we'll come in and do our first experiment, and it lasts approximately 2.5 to 3 hours. And then on 6/9, we don't have a lab. but on 6/11 we do. And so you'll notice these are separated by a week. You do the experiment and then the lab report is due after that as indicated here. So lab report number 1 is due on 6/9 by 11:59 p.m. Lab report 2 is due on 6/16 by 11:59 p.m. to the assignment folder. And it goes that way. You'll notice labs are on Thursdays mostly until we get to 7/7, and then I flip them to Tuesdays. But it looks like our lab reports are still due on Tuesdays. So be aware of the due dates here. And then for lab 8 and 9, they're both due on the same day. This one is all online anyway, so that will be due to an assignment folder as well as the lab number 8. And then for our final experience for the lab, we'll have a lab practical where you guys will come in and I'll have tasks for you, and then you have to do a quick handwritten write-up, and then that's it for the lab portion. So normally, as far as how lab reports are due, normally they would have been due in hard copy form, but we're not going to do hard copy. We're going to save trees. We're going to submit everything online, and I have a separate video going over what an online lab report submission would look like. So the lab reports, though, are due by 8 a.m., which is normal class time. So the assignment folder, I think I said 11:59 up here, didn't I? No. So the reason I made them do at 8 a.m. is because then if you have questions about things, we just kind of need to keep moving like it was normal. So I take that back. It's not 11:59 p.m. It is 8 a.m. for lab reports. Okay, so that's our lab schedule and lab reports. So as far as general lab objectives, I'll let you guys read all of this, see if you have any questions, and then what a lab report is going to look like. But like I said in another video, I'm going to show you what a lab report would look like. And then you can read over this and then look at that and then see what you see if it makes sense to you. And then you guys can read through this as far as an institutional syllabus. That just gives you all the PPCC information, what student services are available as far as tutoring, and the Learning Commons is available that has tutorings, and then there's a schedule online for tutors. I don't know how that is looking, and I don't know if they're doing that through WebEx or what they're doing. So as far as classroom civility, this is going to be for WebEx. And so for WebEx, we just have to have good manners. I don't know. This is the first time I've done a WebEx lecture, so we'll see how it goes. So thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys online and have a fun summer. Summer is my favorite semester because we have kind of some latitude of how we can play and goof off, and whereas in the regular semester, you know, everybody's got to be on the same thing. So we'll see how that goes this summer.